Hello, Viking fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Viking Talk with Josh Morgan. I'm Brandon Davis, and as always, glad to have with me Warren Central head football coach Josh Morgan. Coach, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Brandon.
Well, congratulations closing out the regular season with a 41-6 win over Columbus last Friday night, Coach. It looked great in person. You went back and you watched it on film with the staff. What did you think of the game?
I was proud of us, proud of our performance, and we could have let our minds wander and let our focus wander, and that was one of our concerns going in. And I felt like we showed our maturity, and I thought we handled our game and our focus and our senior night handled all it well. Other than our first two defensive series, we gave up some big plays. I was after that, and once we settled in, really had a good game overall, and it was sure good to see us play well heading into the playoffs.
Well, we were able to send our seniors off on a great night, a positive note. Families on the field, chance to run out and to be recognized with them. Special night for those young men. I know you're glad to come away with a win.
Yes, we talked about honoring them and best that we could, and can't say enough about them and what they mean to us. And as far as being the leaders on our team and also being such great contributors and also getting to know them and loving on them and becoming a part of our family. So I thought what we were able to do for them, recognizing them before the game, and appreciate you recognizing them. Always do a good job with that, and it was good to see them and their parents and their loved ones on the field with them, and really just kind of taking that time to let them be honored and to shed light on them. And it was a really good night, and us playing well sure allowed us to really enjoy the whole night, and it was a wonderful night, special night, and these guys deserve it. So I was glad that it went off the way it did.
Probably the neatest moment was Coach Robert Morgan, your dad. He's been retired for years, but he's still the boss around here, whether we want to admit it or not. He is. Having him escort Eric Lingle out on the field in the golf cart, that might have been the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That was kind of impromptu, and Eric's one of our managers and does a really good job. And the way we had it lined up, it was going to take him a while to get down that field. And I turned around and Dad was sitting there on the golf cart, and I said, "Dad, you think you can give him an escort?" And it just went off perfectly, and kids enjoyed it. I know Eric and his family did. And another one of those cool things where you're so uptight and you're so focused and you're trying to win, but that just kind of really lightened the mood and set the tone, and that's stuff that we'll all remember. And I was glad that we all got to experience that, and I know Eric will never forget it.
Yeah, seeing Coach drive on the field in golf cart, I didn't know what was going on, but you ain't going to ask him, just let it go. But you talked about it a little bit, you alluded to it. Defensively, we didn't start the game all the way we wanted to, a little slow. But when they finally got going, they were dominant. Talk about their performance.
Well, going in, Columbus was a smash mouth team and athletic and big and big backs, and we were getting geared up for that. And I really thought that we managed the run game and the line of scrimmage well. We gave up a big pass early on that almost went for a touchdown. Garrett ran him down and caught him by the shoes, and that was a misplay by our secondary there. And then we held them to a punt, and the punt hits our guys blocking their gunners, and they get the ball back and take a shot right after it and score. So definitely, that was not, it's not what we wanted to see, and we want to eliminate big plays, and that was one of our keys going in. And they made plays. Quarterback made two really good throws on those, and something that we've got to eliminate though moving forward. And I was glad to see us settle in and control the game from there out.
Yeah, it was the only points they scored in the game, and after that, it was a dominant performance by the Viking defense. And something else, kind of a surprise on the night, we hadn't had a punt return here at Warren Central since 2016, but Zach Evans, he did an unusual feat, Coach, returning two for touchdowns and really boosting the team for the rest of the night. Talk about that, and you have to be happy for Zach.
Yes, so a couple things there. Zach's been a playmaker for us really the last 2 years, and He's really stepped up this year and been a threat for us on the outside, on the offensive side of the ball. Put him back there at punt return, and he's made some good decisions and been close a couple times this year to breaking them. But a lot of those were, from him getting outside of coverages. That was all just extraordinary effort on his part. Now him scoring, and he'll be the first to tell you this, he had a caravan walling him up on the sideline. And what was so good to see, we preach and we talk and we coach about penalties and being disciplined. And you can see the wall that's set up for him. There's no blind side blocks. There's no block in the backs. It's just good wall and pretty as it can be. And it happened twice for us. And one was the defensive unit was out there, and the other one was the punt return team. So a lot of work goes into that. So it's really good to see those guys execute that and to watch Zach make those plays. What a shot in the arm it was for our night, for the game. And for him not just to do it once, but for him to do it twice. He was definitely feeling it. And to watch Ronnie and Julian carry him in on one play and just pancaking the guys and blocking for them and being unselfish and whatever it takes to win. And then our punt return unit and Shaka Walker ends up leading him in the end zone along with our whole wall that was set up. So, that's one of the best things to me in football is to watch a punt return or interception get walled up and watch your guys in the middle of a play flip from defense to offense and our special teams. That's really awesome to see everybody turn and get engaged in that and also, make legal blocks. So that was awesome plays. It was really gave our a spark to our entire team, and to watch them celebrate that all together. That's why you coach football, and that's how we. That's what we preach around here is doing it together, and so everybody, a lot of people played a part in it, but Zach really made some special plays there.
Well, those two punt returns plus excellent performance by the offense on Friday night gave us a lead where we had a running clock in the second half. Coach, I know you had to be pleased getting some younger guys some positive and good reps before we go into this playoff.
It's always good. As soon as we can get them in and feel comfortable getting them in, we want to do that. And that goes back to developing and getting our younger guys ready. I thought we had a good offensive drive going, and we fumbled. With that running clock, you kind of it really limits your possessions right there. And I wish I could have been able to lead them on the field a little bit longer. It was good to see our guys get in, though, get that experience. And that's going to do nothing but benefit them. But it's a lot of it is they've earned that, and they've really worked hard. And we like to do that as much as we possibly can to reward them, just as much as develop them, but also to reward them. And they were ready to go, and I think we had a goal line stand to keep them out toward the end of the game, and you could tell how much it meant to them. And the older boys were pushing them to keep them out of the end zone. And again, that goes back to the culture that you want here, and to watch it come through and watch those guys make a stand. That's nothing but good for us.
Overall, an outstanding night. Great way to close out the season. 5-0 in region play. So a great way going into the playoffs. This is Viking Talk. We're visiting with Josh Morgan. So, Coach, a new season starts this week. Everything else is in the past. Playoffs opening up against Saltillo, 4 seed out of the North. What can you tell us about this bunch?
Saltillo is, it's a team that we've not been very familiar with. But after a week of watching them on film and really studying them over the weekend, they're a well-coached, disciplined football team that plays really hard and tough, big kids. And what they do is good, and they're good at it. And so the first thing that sticks out to me is their toughness. And excuse me. Their toughness and the way that they compete for 4 quarters. They've had some games where they've been up or down, but they're going to play 4 quarters of football, and so they're going to be a challenge. Their defense is what they're going to do is they're going to take away the run no matter who they're playing. They're up in the box, very aggressive, and we've got to be able to combat that. And offensively, they do something that you normally don't see in high school. They run a fullback wing system and a tight end always on the field with that personnel, and they all go out in routes. It's a 5 wide type deal, not a 5 wide, 5 in the routes. And it really stretches you in your zone and man concept. So we've got to be really disciplined in our alignment and assignment on the defensive side of the ball.
It's an offense with a 1,000-yard rusher and sophomore Keyshawn Robbins. What have you seen? You just talked about a little bit. What else have you seen from this offense, and what do they do really well for the Tigers?
I think that they have. I think it starts with their two backs are really big. They have one that's 230, one 210, and I think that if they are able to, they want to be a physical up front and pounding teams, off tackle team. They play two quarterbacks. One's a little bit better of a passer. The other one's more dynamic in the run game. So again, we've had to get our guys prepared for both those scenarios, and they've got two guys on the edges that can make plays as well. So balanced is the first thing that pops to my mind on the offensive side of the ball.
So defense, they show multiple fronts. You'll see them in a 3-3 stack. You'll see them in evens across the way. They're led by senior linebacker Connor Scoggins. I really like this kid, Coach, number 50. He seems to be the difference maker on their defense, likes to blitz him a lot. But what other challenges do you see that defense posing us this Friday night? You just talked about the running.
Yeah.
What else do you see from them?
Well, the first thing is this. In the same week going into Callaway, we can't, sometimes you play a team and you're familiar with them and you've scouted them and you've studied and you know what they're going to do. This team is not like that, and it's hard to prepare for that. And our offensive staff has spent extra hours over the weekend and the entire week of trying to prepare our guys. Our guys are going to have to do a good job of adjusting to it. But we've always do a really good job in preparing our kids. But when we can't show them everything or what might not happen and what might happen, they've got to be able to handle it on the field, and they've got to make the right calls and the right decisions and have their heads up. And because it's different blocking an odd front than an even front. It's different when backers are stacked and in a 4-2 set. So we've got to do a good job of recognizing formations and making sure that we have guys going to the right places. So that's going to be a challenge. The next thing is they shoot gaps a lot. They're a very aggressive defense that takes gambles and so we've got to do a good job combating that. No run-throughs that disrupt plays that ultimately put you in negative plays and behind the chains. And we talked about that, and we battled that early on in the year. And our third down conversions have increased. Our negative plays have decreased, and that's been one of the reasons that you've seen our offense get really hot down the stretch.
So, yeah, one of the concerns I think that you'd probably have with a team that blitzes a lot, especially ones that shoot the gap, is holding calls on your offensive line. Have you any extra emphasis this week on trying to combat that, and do you think you may have to make adjustments throughout the game?
Well, I think that's always a point of concern, and again, emulate it as much as we can on scout team. But when a team feels like they're either undersized or at a disadvantage, now they're going to try to get that back with your blitz scheme and your gap schemes and trying to get penetration and run-throughs. And again, if you block it on the flip side of that, offensively, there's chances to make big plays. So there's a risk-reward right there that we're going to see going on Friday night. Can they gamble and penetrate and blow up plays, or can we seal it off and block it the right way and protect our quarterback and us make big plays? So that'll be an interesting game that's really going to dictate how the game goes for us.
Well, on paper, open round playoffs, this is a 4 seed, we're a 1 seed. On paper, we really have a competitive advantage against the Saltillo team. They're a 4-7 team on the season. They're yielding 28 points a game. Coach, you do such a great job of keeping the kids' heads level, but is there any concern for you and the staff the team might overlook them, and how do you combat that this week?
Well, there's always a concern there, and you try to educate your team as much as you can. First thing out of my mouth Monday in our team meeting was, Callaway's 4-7. They about beat us. Last year we went down to Gulfport. We were a 3 seed. They were a 2 seed, and we went down there and had a really good game. So you can't get overconfident. You can't put things out of perspective. You must respect your opponent. There's no bad teams in the playoffs, and it's all about us and us playing the right way. And it's really kind of the same message headed into Columbus. Like we can't overlook anybody. The playoffs is if you lose, you're out. There's no more redoing. So I think the playoff aspect of it and understanding the situation that we're in, and us, really, concentrating and talking about respecting our opponent. We can't afford not to be prepared, not to be at our very best, and trying again to play our best ball and holding a standard to ourselves and us competing at a high level and playing the way that we want to play and that what we associate our brand with. So those are things that we've tried to make sure that we drive across to our players, that mentally that they have our 100% undivided attention, and that we do what we're supposed to do.
But you have to be happy with the way the regular season went, because if we look back on the regular season, we had games where we won. Probably we were favored, but beating Clinton 28-7. Not a lot of people expected that to open the season. Then you look at games, we lose to Brandon by 13. That was our largest margin. It was only the biggest game we lost. Lose by a point in double overtime. What I'm getting at is you really have seen just about every situation that you could see. You had to come back to beat Callaway. You had to come back to beat Vicksburg. There are things that you've seen that I'm sure you can carry over to this team to get them ready for this game.
Absolutely. We would be foolish not to lean on those experiences. And in tight ball games, I think we're 3-1, and it's good. We've won in those tight ball games and won in those situations. The experiences that we've been able to have through our schedule and through our season has been nothing but good. We've won games where our offense has really stepped up and had big games. We've won games defensively where we felt like our defense really played well. We've won games with special teams. So we're winning in different phases. We've been in different scenarios and situations. And that's all, you're going to lean on all those experiences. And we're planning on and hoping on making a deep run. And, all that stuff comes into play. An experienced, mature football team. And our guys have seen a lot, been through a lot, and really responded well.
Well, one of the positives this week, we don't have to get on a bus and ride 4 hours like we've had in the past. Home field advantage, first round, being the second round, assuming that we make it past this first round, you've got to be excited about having that advantage here at Viking Stadium.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a home playoff game, and we're excited about that. We're looking forward to a really big crowd, and again, the reason that they call it home field advantage is for the crowd. So I'm hoping that our Vikings and our community get behind our guys and this program and really our shot right here. And so I'm hoping for that support right there, that everybody's got these youngins back and can do what they can do to be a part of us. Again, it's all about us around here and what can we do for each other and what can we do for our team. And so I'm glad about that. The kids are glad about that and proud of it. They love being at home in front of our crowd at our stadium. And it's a tough place to play, and there's reasons why it's a tough place to play. So we're very proud of that. Kids have earned it. That's the whole reason that everybody tries to be district champs, is to set themselves up that way. So, but that's all it is right now. We still have to compete, and we still have to be good at what we do and what's gotten us here to this point.
Well, as play survived in advance season and the playoffs, talk about how intense practice has been this week, and you feel good where you're going.
Yeah, so it's a different mindset. It's a different gear. Things feel different. Meetings are different, and it's just really because everybody understands, and we don't run from it. It's just not like any other game. It's so we have to understand where we're sitting, the situation that it calls for. And it just requires our very best and attention to details, to discipline, to preparation, to execution. You just can't afford to let yourself in any of that department waver. So we've got to be really good at what we do. Monday through Thursday, we can't play and execute. What we can do is get ready to play. And that's been there this week. We've had a wonderful week of practice. I think our kids are hungry. I also think our kids are very confident. And what we're trying to do, and they love each other. And if they'll continue to do that, that's a great recipe.
Injuries. I know end of the year, everybody's got bumps and bruises. Any injuries or concern this week that may keep somebody out?
No, we're good. We're healthy, and we thank the Lord for that. Been mighty blessed, and kids have been pretty resilient. We've been pretty fortunate.
All right. Well, what are the keys to victory getting this first round win over Saltillo this week?
I think big plays are going to come down to it, and I think it's both sides of the football. I don't feel like they can consistently run the football on us. I hope not. That's what they want to do. I think that's one of our strengths. So to combat that, we feel like that we're going to get shots taken on us for big plays. So I think that we've got to be ready for that. We've got to be prepared for that, and and we've got to be good on the back end. On the other side of that, offensively, is they're going to do their very best to take away the run, and they're going to give us matchups and opportunities to make plays on the outside. So our skill, Zach and Red and Maddox and EJ and Aiden, they're going to have to make plays. Nash has got to do a good job of taking care of the football, making good decisions, and giving them opportunities to make plays. The offensive line has got to give Nash some time and our back some space. So us being able to rip off big plays, and that's not just the passing game. There's going to be plays and times where you know it as well as I do. Just because they've got 8 in the box, 7 in the box, we're still going to try and establish a run game and establish the control of the game. What does that look like? Can we do that? Can we be a gritty 5-yard type team and get positive yards and control the line of scrimmage? So those are going to be big challenges, but those big plays is really what it comes down to, and of course taking care of the football.
Well, and the coin toss, Coach. I mean, do you have a different mentality, different mindset, or different strategy at the coin toss in the playoffs versus the regular season? How do you normally handle that?
Well, I think you always want to get off to a fast start, and I really look at it by how we look during the week and kind of a gut feeling. What are we playing against, and what's their strength? But I like to start off the quickest way that I think can give us the momentum, and it's not necessarily looking forward to second half. Everybody wants the ball coming out of second half, yes, but I also think starting fast and what gives you that best opportunity to do it. So again, it's things like that kind of go into that decision.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to give your what you're going to do this week. I don't want you showing your hand, but I'm just excited what's going to go down, Coach.
Yep.
Best of luck to you. Looking forward to tomorrow night. I want to thank you guys for coming out last Friday night for senior night. I know those kids really enjoyed it. The coaches enjoyed it. It means a lot to these coaches, and not only to Coach Josh and his staff, but also for Dr. McMullen, Cameron Kuhn, all those folks that make Friday nights happen. It's not just football. It's everyone that's involved, and we thank you for supporting these kids and sending them off on a good note. This Friday night, we are a whiteout against Saltillo, almost said Columbus, against Saltillo. If we win, we will be back here the following Friday night. We'll play the winner of Vicksburg or Grenada, so we'll be watching that score. We got to take care of our business first. Thank you for your time this week. We will see you next week. For Brandon Davis, that's Josh Morgan. Take care. Rise up, Vikings.